Hi guys, this is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a final review for you for a painting you've never seen before. I ordered this not so long ago and I received it and didn't know what it was because of something I love very much when the seller sends you the wrong tracking number and you can't keep track of your package. You think it's never going to arrive and then suddenly you have a surprise delivery, but you don't know the tracking number and have no clue whatsoever what's in the package. That happened for this one, and it also arrived on a Saturday. So I just went ahead and opened it, and I didn't want to film a pretend unboxing for you after I had already opened it. That's why I didn't. I completed it this weekend. I was actually working on my Star Raw full crystal kit, the Starry Night, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not loving it so far. It's mostly the black I don't like, and I'm now mostly done with the black, so maybe things are going to pick up now. But I wanted to do something else over the weekend, and I thought, why not pull out one of the smaller ones, and I pulled this one out. So, because there's no unboxing, let's give you a few of the stats. This is, as you can see up here, a 30 by 30 centimeter painting. It's actually pretty spot on. It's 30 by 29.7. And it comes from a store called the Alma store on AliExpress. It did cost me €8.19 and I ordered it on May 11th. It shipped on the 15th. According to the seller. I have not checked if it actually shipped on the 15th because, like I said, he gave me the wrong tracking number. So I never could really check what was going on with this package. And it arrived on June 12th. And I think that was a Saturday. I hope. Anyway, took me 2 days to complete this painting. And that is mostly because I could use my 3-placer quite a bit and didn't actually care about the final result of the painting too much, because this is actually a test painting for the store to see how their paintings are in general. You might or might not see it up here where we had all the same color where I used my 3-placer, that the placement is pretty sloppy. And that's what I mean with I usually prefer, if I care what a painting looks like in the end, to put down one drill at a time, because that gives me much more control. I tried to correct some of these drills, but once they are down on the adhesive, it depends really on the adhesive if you can move them again or not. So in this case, they weren't very movable. Okay, things I thought about this painting. Are we going to start with the good or with the bad? How do I want to end? Let's start with the bad, because I actually want to end on a positive note in general. So one thing I noticed right away is that we had a lot of post-unboxing bubbles going on in this painting. There was only one bubble, if I remember correctly, when I actually did the unboxing. And when I came back to it a few weeks later, literally I think a couple of weeks later, we had bubbles all over the place. And what was also not very fun is that the bubbles wouldn't stay down. So usually, depending on which method you prefer, you either cut them or scratch them down and they should stay down, but sometimes the adhesive just doesn't want to. So I'm a cutter. I cut my bubbles and then I put the wax paper back on top of it and apply a lot of pressure, either with my bone folder, with my ruler, whatever, to put the adhesive down on the canvas properly, and ideally press out all the air between the adhesive and the canvas material. Didn't work on this one at all. Wouldn't stay down. So I'm not very much in love with that fact. I don't think you can actually see this in the final result. I don't know. I can't. But I've looked at this painting for 2 days straight, so maybe I'm just blind. Don't know. The key on this one is extremely confusing, because this is what you get. as you can see, you get no colors at all with the symbols. And quite honestly, you don't really need it, but you have to get used to it. And I think for the first 2 sections down here, it really drove me a bit nuts that they didn't put the symbols in the legend like they appeared on the canvas. Because it makes it so much easier if you know what you're looking for to see if you actually have it in the section you're doing right now. So didn't love that very much. I learned to live with it and to work with it by the end, but yeah. Invest in a color printer, people. Put the colors on there. As always with these paintings, it looks a bit better on camera than it looks in real life. I'm not a fan of the shading of this painting. This is once again a painting that has not a single drop of any kind of white in there, so there's no 5200 and there's also no 3865. They used pink for everything that is supposed to look white. It's okay. You can't actually see it if you don't put white right next to it, but it's still strange. And it actually looks pretty cohesive and okay on camera, but quite honestly, there's some neon pink in the nose going on. The same neon pink that's up here in the flowers. And looking at it really is strange. I also don't really understand the greens. The cat is supposed to have green eyes and there are green leaves, and they actually use these pretty ugly yellows for the leaves and for the eyes. There's some real green in the eye here. As you can see, there is a dark green going on. But then there are these yellows. Don't really get it. I also don't get these dead leaf yellows here for the flowers. Because I hope I can show it to you if you look at the thumbnail. That's all a lot greener than this. And I know there are greens that would fit this. I've had them, so I don't know why I didn't get them. There were 25 colors in total. I think that the seller limits themselves quite a bit as far as colors go, which also is the reason why the shading is so bad. I find it especially bad in this upper part here. I mean, it is a bit... It doesn't have too much contrast in the thumbnail as well, but you really can't tell the ears. You just can't. If you know that the ears are supposed to be here and here, all right, but because they didn't use any kind of other whitish colors, there is no shading whatsoever in the ears up there, which is a bit of a pity. Also, I think that this section down here got way too dark. So not a fan of the shading. Not a fan of some of the colors as well. As I've mentioned, I wish there would have been some real greens. Other than that, I think for the size, it turned out all right. Yeah, as I've mentioned, they sent me the wrong tracking number. Not good, because I track my packages. And I get nervous when my tracking number isn't working for a month. And I actually sent them messages, I think 2 weeks in, telling them, this hasn't moved, are you sure this is the right tracking number? And this is another negative point as far as I'm concerned. They never, to this day, even read the messages. So with the new messaging system on AliExpress, it's a bit like WhatsApp. You can see if the other person has read your message or not. And they haven't. That's not very great customer service. I mean, I got my kit in the end, but what if I hadn't? And the seller just doesn't react to messages from their customers? Not the best practice. So this is a real big thumbs down for me. And this is probably the one reason that would keep me from buying from them again. All the other stuff, alright, maybe this cat would have turned out better if it was bigger. As I said, it's supposed to be a test painting, so I usually don't buy bigger than 30 by 30 for a test painting. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not going to test it, quite honestly. As for the positive, because there has of course been positive. So the drill quality was pretty good. There was hardly any trash. This is all I picked out as trash for this painting. And as you can see, the biggest problem was for the lightest pink color with overfill. I had a concave drill and I had a few stragglers. There's no blue in this painting, though this blue drill there, don't know where it came from. And there were a few stragglers in the other colors, and I didn't bother to check if they matched up with anything or were basically just hitchhikers that didn't belong in the painting period. Pick them out. So drill quality was pretty good. They fit on the canvas very well. There's no overcrowding. There's actually enough space that you can see my wonky placement with the multiplacer. And they are sparkly. Not sure if I can actually show that, because as always this is all... Oh yeah, you can see it. They are sparkly. So that's a good thing. I had enough drills to complete the painting, and for some colors I actually have so much left over. It's mind-blowing. For other colors, like this pink here for example, I was afraid of running out. This was not a color where I had very little of. You can see some of these colors, like this one for example, I had a 0.5 and I've that much left over. I hardly needed this color at all. And this pink, they gave me 3.6 grams, and there's nearly nothing left of that. That's because it's all over the flowers. It's in the cat's face, so it's basically everywhere. And I was afraid of running out. Same for this background color here, because it's all over here. This is all this color, this taupe tone here, and it's all over the place. It only stopped in the upper section. There's only a few of them. Really a few of them. But by the time I completed the middle section, I was completely sure I would be running out of this. So I'm not quite sure how much they give you. Same for this brown here, nearly nothing left. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There were a few colors. This dark red, hi Lola, this bluish one, and one of the yellows, I think this one, that were actually stuck together. I needed my grinder for that. Yeah, not awesome, but also not a big issue. If you don't have a grinder, you can actually use a jam jar and a coin of some kind, a quarter maybe, or smaller. That works just as well, I've been told. Never tried it though. So the canvas didn't have any black dummy circles, which is always a plus in my book. What they did is a bit more like, who does it? I don't always want to say Diamond Art Club, but honestly Diamond Art Club does it, where they just they leave out circles. New Frog did that as well. So you don't have black outline circles, you have circles that are either lighter than the background color and then the symbols printed on it, or no, none at all, honestly. So this were a mix of both. The lighter colors didn't have any kind of circle, and the darker colors had a much lighter circle, but not a black outline that could show up around the drills. The print on this canvas was very clear. No complaints whatsoever. There wasn't a single symbol I couldn't read. And we had a very strong adhesive in this painting. So once the drills were down, it was pretty hard to move them without picking them back up again. On the other hand, it was very strange that the bubbles wouldn't stay down. So this is a bit of a strange thing, really. And what I also appreciated quite a bit was that the symbols weren't too complicated. There was one thing that was not so much fun, and you would never guess if you just look at the legend, because they leave out the background colors, but there's a Q and there's an ohm. This one here. Omega. And they were pretty much the same color because it's always these sections here, these baby walnut green sections. These are two colors, as you might be able to see, a bit darker and a bit lighter, but it's the same family. One is the Q, one is the Omega. And that wasn't the best choice, quite honestly. But it was legible and I could deal with it. I would not have liked it if the sections had been bigger though. Yeah. And that's basically my review. I would quite honestly, it's not a bad job, but I would not recommend them. I would not buy from them again. I don't like it if sellers ignore you. Even if you get your stuff in the end, it's just not a good business practice to ignore your customers. That combined with the little defects we have here, especially with the glue. Yeah, not a huge fan. So, this is my verdict on the Alma store. I'm sorry that there's no unboxing. Yeah, but that's just how it is if you get surprise packages. I hope you liked this. If you did, please leave us a thumbs up. Poor Lola is very, very tired and exhausted by the heat wave we have here in Central Europe. It's not fun at all. So if you want to cheer her up, no, she doesn't care about thumbs ups. But if you would like to, please leave us a thumbs up, a comment, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell to be notified about any videos I put up. And I hope you have a great day, a great week, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye.